We're here with Coach Brown.
That's it.
What's up, Coach Brown?
Okay.
I just wanted to show that we're in the same studio.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get
we're
at.
looking at each other.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
What's going on, everybody? We're here with. That's annoying. F your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it away because
Yeah.
I suck at intros.
You was getting good.
I was
your radio voice on.
there,
All right, but yeah. All right, let's do it. All right, so tonight, UnCut Show is entitled F Your Feelings. The reason why we chose that title is because we're living in a hypersensitive society, and everyone's offended by everything, and it's very dangerous to be offended by everything. And we're going to dive into that a little bit and touch on it. A lot of different things were coming to me throughout the day as I was thinking about this episode that I'm excited to share. But let's dive into it. Tonight we have Ashley V in the building and special guest Jess Bell. All right, what's up, Jess?
How you
So,
doing?
yeah, you guys say a little something and then let's just dive into it. All right.
All right, take two. Well, you go first.
Me?
Yeah.
Of course, you do this to me all the time. So, hi, all you butthurt people out there. We're here to fuck with your feelings. How do you want to start?
Well, I think that this topic is important because this is what stops people's growth.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Because if you're offended by everything, then you can't
expand.
Yeah, pretty much. If you want to get like really basic with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, who cares what gender Mr. Potato Head is?
Nah, that's all that's all a distraction for real. But you know what? The thing about it, like, is what people got to realize is not if, but I'm gonna say when you're always offended, then you can't be defended. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're. I don't want to say like anything too. Let me say this: your inner person, your spirit, your whatever you want to call it, needs some defense. But when you're always offended, you can't defend and be offended at the same time. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say this, and people are gonna be like, "Yeah, right." But honestly, I don't think I've ever been offended.
Really?
Yes, and I know exactly. I know how crazy that sounds. But
I don't know if I believe
let me expand on that. I'm gonna expand on that.
Donnie,
because
do you believe that?
What happened? Donnie believes. Donnie, have you ever seen it?
That's cap all day.
Hey, but listen. How long have you known me?
It's been
a long time. I want you to think about when
it's
I've
almost 8 years, dude.
All right, so think about when I've been offended. Like, yo, that really offends me. If you can name one time, I'll bring my.
You've been close.
I've been close. Like when?
So pet peeves are different. So if you're referring to pet peeves,
actually, you know what? I don't think
being offended.
Yeah, because this is why I say because I was trying to think. I'm like, yo, when have I been offended?
So offended that it disrupts your life. So when you were talking earlier about offended in your soul, so now think about what the emotion as an empath. Think of an empath, someone who's extremely in touch with their sensitive feelings.
Mm-hmm.
What is being secreted when you're being offended by something? What emotion, what energy is coming out of your body when you are offended? It's kind of toxic. But for people around you, and it kind of infects others as well.
And what I noticed too is like how you said like what's coming out of you, like when I think of like offended, it seems as though it's an energy going out, and then it's pulling something in. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you? Oh my God, I can't believe you said that. So it's like sending it out, and then you're bringing something in. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you're constantly offended, you're constantly open. You're like an open receptor to just everything. Because now you're looking like, does this offend me? Does that offend me? And it seems like right now, the offense that people are feeling is being weaponized. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, a battleground.
I think when people have tried to get on your nerves, I was just trying to think back since as long as I know you have never been offended, but I noticed that when people try to get on your nerves, you flip it around and try to make it a joke. Like you bring up a comedy in it, and you like de-escalate the situation. Yeah, and then you're like, all right, we're cool.
Yo, Ashley V is mad quiet today.
She is.
I'm just thinking how much I get.
I'm messing. Oh, snap. So, all right, you guys tell me this then. with this whole offended thing, right? What have you guys been seeing when it comes to this offense culture and sensitive culture, and what have you been seeing, and then what do you make it to mean, like specific things?
There's a lot of delusion behind it.
Mhm.
Like it's
A-
a lot of things that people are getting offended about to me aren't even real.
Mm.
Like the Mr. Potato Head thing. Like that shit ain't even real to me. Like that's like, where does this even come from? To me, it's like almost like it's something that's made up.
It's good.
You
When,
know,
I feel
it's
like
like it's something that is like, hey, let's just throw this out there because it relates to this, and like make people really mad about it, and then people just connect to it, and then they pick up on it, and they're like, yeah, that shit fucking pisses me off, or like that's what this is, and
Mhm.
it like a lot of things I feel like that people are offended about are made up. I don't feel like they're real. I feel like it's really illusion and then creating delusion.
I agree with that. I feel like it's creating. How do I say that in the right way? It's delusional in a sense, in ways where it's creating the divide. The more
Well,
offensive and the more separate the topics become, the divisioning, the last place trophies. Like it's okay for
yeah.
everybody to have their own. I'm bringing it up because it's like, where are you gonna even try or strive to be something other than offended by everything? How are you going to become the solution of what you're offended about if you don't try to work harder or better than that?
Well, they don't want people to work harder.
But that's my point, is that it's always subconsciously putting people in this dormant, submissive mindscape.
And not and it's people on both sides. So it's not even just the person who is being offended, but it's the offender at the same time. You know what I mean? That's being neutralized
It's
in
a
this whole
loop.
situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a loop being played on each other. It's the divide. It's just.
I just feel like the
more.
people that are coming up with it are like completely pulling it out of their ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so
You
many
know what I
people
mean? Like
falling for
that's what
it.
I'm saying. Like I feel like the people that are like, hey, let's pull these strings. Let's do, you know, it's
So it is really right. It's just a puppet show for real.
Marionettes.
Yeah. So
Marionettes.
let's get a little dangerous, right? Why I felt like Darkwing Duck when I said that. But let's get let's get a little dangerous, and let's dive into some specific things that are taking place out here in the world that have people highly offended and outraged and emotional and
like
illogical.
right now.
What is it?
What do you think is like the main one right now?
Let's see. What do you guys have? What shows up for you?
I don't know.
Oh, she slid out the camera. She's like, I'm not here
I
for this
guess
one.
the racism stuff is the main one right now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, racism's heavy. And I'll get in trouble for this because I said this on plenty other occasions. So if anybody wants to slide out the camera for this one, but I don't buy into the whole racism thing. You know what I mean? And it's hard for people to hear that because they don't. There's a lot of explaining, I guess, that needs to be attached to that. But a lot of
I want to hear that from you.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Exactly, and I think what people need to realize is that racism is highly weaponized, and racism at the end of the day is how you talked about certain things not being real. I'm gonna say something crazy, then I'm gonna explain it. Okay, racism does exist, but the what they accredit racism with and the power it has is not real. You know what I mean?
You know what?
It's
I
not
try
real.
to say that shit to people, and they just look at me like I'm an asshole when I say it.
Well, the biggest thing is that if you believe something has power over you, then it does have power over you, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? And when it comes to the racism thing in America, because that's a great divide. You know what I mean? What it really boils down to is convincing people, and I'm not even saying this totally towards like the Black community, because there's racism that's fired in all directions when it's appropriate for whatever it is that they're talking about. But yeah, like Wob said, racism is an illusion. You know what I mean? And it really is. You know, let me tell you, I'll use this analogy that when I heard it, it totally applied for me. but they said that baby elephants, when they're in the circus, when they're young, they use a small anklet for them and a chain, and they nail that chain into the ground, and the baby elephant can't break free from it, right? So as that baby elephant grows to be this massive, strong animal, they put that same chain with that nail in the ground that the elephant can easily break and go. But in its mind, it's been conditioned to believe that that anklet is on him, therefore he can't move. So it's the same thing when we talk about racism in America. It's like that's the anklet that from a young age is being programmed in people to believe that they're at a disadvantage. But if you understand that the power of racism is the absolute illusion. Are there people that dislike people based on their color or genders or whatever the hell it is? Yes, there are people out there, but the power that they have over you, or you've been convinced that they have over you, is an illusion. And the power that it has over your life and what you can do with your life is all an illusion. It's all about what you accept to be true. But people, the thing about it is that racism is the new master for all races. You know what I mean? Because for some black people, I can't say all because obviously I'm black myself, and I know a lot of black people, and I know a lot of people who are free thinking and moving and not confined by things like that. But there are a lot of people who have been convinced that they're victims. You know what I mean? And from that victim mentality, you can't let go of your victimhood because then what do you have? You know what I mean? And then on the flip side, a lot of the things, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. A lot of the things that we've been seeing taking place in these streets over the last like year and a half with these riots and Black Lives Matter protests and all these type of different things. There's a lot of white people who are offended or are experiencing some sort of like white guilt over things that happened in the past. And a lot of them are out there in the streets because they feel something. They do feel something. They feel something. They're like, something's not right. And they're being led down this path. Like, if you think this is wrong, you need to be out here. You need to do this. Get this, get this Black Lives thing and put it in your yard or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So they're being taken advantage of just as well.
Oh
But
yeah.
when we draw back on that and we get to where the hell was I going with this? So not because I was getting to like with the victimhood and all that. So people need that. They need to attach onto that. And then when we look at it from both sides, not the black side and the white side, they're both being led like cattle to the same slaughterhouse, just with different stories and different mechanisms. You know what I mean?
I agree with everything you just said.
But the whole thing with like racism is like, it could put it this way: racism will always be around. But the constraint it has on us as a society and as people could end easily by just breaking the illusion that somehow racism is stopping you from doing something. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I've never been in a situation where I'm like, goddamn, racism is just holding me down. Like, you know what I mean? Like anything I want to do, I'm fucking doing it. You know what I mean? And if I run into somebody who wants to stop me based on my skin color or whatever, they got an issue, I just keep it moving. I'm not gonna stop and be like, yo, this guy did this or he said, nah, all right, yo, you on that time? Let's keep it moving. Just keep going. You know what I mean? But we got to break that because that is being used. That's like the greatest weapon in America right now. Like we all seen it play out. It is such a double standard when it comes to these different things. Like when people were out, doing the protests and burning stores and looting and whatever the case may be, those certain individuals who were causing trouble, there were peaceful protests. You know what I mean? I get that, but there were some people that was out there for destruction.
Oh yeah.
And that there was a blind eye turned to that. You know what I mean? But then when we fast forward and you have people who are in the streets for their political stance, the mega people that's out there like, oh, Trump 2020. Now all of a sudden these are crazy, violent Nazis and like, you know what I mean? So it's like, no, the way that the illusion survives is by the double standard because it creates confusion.
Yeah.
Like it's okay if you do this, but if someone else does the same thing, that's wrong. You know what I mean? And now you have that confusion. So how do you determine what's right or what's wrong? But I'll draw back because I'll just keep talking. I like to talk.
Well, that makes sense because, like, when that whole thing was going down and everybody was like protesting and stuff, they were destroying like cities. Like cities were getting destroyed, and then one protest from a different area went and just stormed the Capitol, and it was a huge deal. Like
We're still talking about that on the
Yeah.
news. When I
Like,
go to my trainer,
yeah, it's a huge thing, but it's like
still
it's.
talking about
I
that.
honestly, I get like you shouldn't have. That should have never escalated to that.
Yeah, but that was
Well,
planned.
yeah, that's what.
That
Let's
was
go back.
so
That
planned.
But
I,
what I'm saying is, like people have destroyed cities.
no,
Yeah.
no, but what you got to understand is all of that was strategic because they understood if we do this, people will do that. And on top of that,
I think
number one, I'm going to go on the record and say this: George Floyd, that was a planned execution. There's
I
no doubt
believe
in my
so
mind.
too.
They took him
I
out
believe
because
so
they
too.
understood what the reaction would be.
Mhm.
Now, when the reaction, now we got to fast forward. When the reaction wasn't what they thought it would be, because initially people were out there, but they were out there peacefully. So what did they do? They sent in people to incite violence.
Yep.
Hey, come on, guys, bust this thing. Or they were showing up to protest and there's pallets of bricks like at the protest
Yeah,
site.
yeah, like
Who the
where
fuck developed? Who?
bricks come
Yeah,
from?
like who brought the bricks? You know what I mean? So it's like they're like, yo, wait a minute, they didn't really react how we thought. So now we got to send people in to get this shit riled up. Like even when it happened in Providence, I don't know if you guys seen the video, Providence Place
Did
Mall.
you see how sketchy that looked?
Yeah, the kids jumped in the street and they were like, "Come on, guys, ain't you gonna do something? Come on, guys, light something, like burn something, break something." Like they were trying to get people like going. You know what I mean?
It was all egging on.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's the weaponization. It's like, all right, if we do this, then we know they're gonna do that, and when they do that, we do this.
I
You
just
know what I mean?
that whole thing with Providence. I don't want to dwell on it for a second, but when they were going into the mall, they were like going around busting buildings, and the only thing that the news really captured was that one captain police officer. I think he got on his knees, like he got on like one knee or something like that, and did a prayer. And they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, look at this guy!" Like, wait a minute,
It's
why is that
all directional.
Wait, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just like, all right, yeah.
It's all one big
Well,
production.
did you see that Minnesota, I guess, is going to close its schools for like 2 days to see what happens with the conviction of the cop?
Well, because they already know it's gonna be crazy. Either you know what? I think either way it goes, we might see the
Is that coming up
same
soon?
turnout.
Yeah.
But now let's rewind. I'm gonna say something crazy. You guys ready?
Say it.
All right.
Not crazy to me. I agree
All
with
right. So listen,
what you say.
it's crazy how I want to put this out there, and I'm not discarding how people were like, oh, like there's Asian hate and hate for Asian people, and Asian lives matter and all of that. But what I did notice through my awareness is this: everything's Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. The whole ride up until the election, and then right after the election, it's like the trial was coming up for the George Floyd case, and it was like, wait a minute, turn the channel. Oh, Asians are being attacked. Forget the black people. And then it was also when people started to question, wait, how did Black Lives Matter raise $90 million and not do any programs in any cities? There's no paper, like, where did all this fucking money go?
I saw something about that
Yeah.
too.
And then they just changed the channel. Like, yo, the Asians. Like, you know what I mean? Hey, forget the black stuff. Yo, the Asians. You gotta go, like,
I
we
saw
gotta
one
protect.
of those quick clips
It's
where it
crazy.
was like the creator of BLM
Yeah.
and like, take that money and use it for personal use. and stuff
She
like
bought like a $1.4 million house or some crazy shit.
She
But all right,
bought
so
$1 million house
Mhm.
and then 2 other houses with a
cars.
landing.
Wasn't it like some cars too or something?
it's crazy. But it's like, all right, how do we? Not even we, because it's not like all we can do is have conversations like this. You know what I mean?
Well, to
But
me, I feel like that shit is a spell. Like when people were protesting with BLM, I'm like, yo, this is a spell.
but
Like
yo,
when you do, we just did a ceremony
yeah,
for this. When you do magic,
Mhm.
you chant. That is how you invoke energy.
yo,
So
no,
what were one of the things that they were chanting?
no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. So guess what's never gonna happen?
Exactly.
No justice, no peace. What else were they chanting?
Yeah, that's weird.
What else were they chanting? I don't know.
I can't breathe.
Oh yeah, I can't breathe. Yeah, yep. I swear to God, I was thinking that. I'm like, yo, they're chanting or they're saying these affirmations. Like, you know what I mean? They're just affirming.
Yep.
Like, no,
And
like,
COVID,
how do people not know that?
You know what I mean? Like that's no coincidence that they're trying to stop your breathing, your life force energy. That's what was being done in those. Like I was like, I want nothing to do with this shit.
Yeah.
Oh, this
I caught that right away.
dark magic. Like this is something that is like
Well, we're all getting so powerful that they're trying to subliminally get people to lay dormant to it, and it scares me with the divide that's happening, because if we weren't divided so much and understood the power that we have in numbers magically, not just physically, but telepathically, telekinetically, it's happening all around us right now with people who are blind to that and don't think it's real. So when they're filtrating it through us and making certain people so submissive and just doing it, they're like, yes, I'll do that. All right, that looks good. Let me do that.
Yeah.
They're actually ruining it for the bulk of us with that ignorance.
I just wonder, like, how many people that were chanting that ended up catching COVID.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I would love
to. Or like some weird illness
in that city, wherever
stop their breathing, or like having issues with anything like that, or the throat and lungs. When I do energy work, those are connected.
Yeah. Yep,
so communication is off. Like I feel like that like cuts your communication. Like you're not able to listen if you're chanting something like that, and you're not able to actually speak. And then the whole no justice, no peace, like that to me is sending a whirlwind of like wayward energy to all those cities that are having those. I call them parades, but they're not. I don't know what the fuck they were.
You said parades. But yo, it's crazy because when I heard that statement, I didn't know that it was something that was being chanted. All I heard, I saw a post and it said, no justice, no peace. And I'm like, look at this fucking idiot. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like they're affirming no justice, no peace. And then I seen a video of mad people doing it. I'm like, yo, what the hell's happening right now? I couldn't believe what the hell I was seeing. But all right, let's switch frames here. Let's switch frames only because I want to get to all these topics inside the time. So this is going to be directed to you guys specifically. All right. You guys ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. What? Wait. Let's check some of these comments before we go there. I like your Bill. You see me? All right. Let's check some of the comments. Let's see. Dan, there's mad comments.
I said,
Donnie, you want to hit a couple comments?
They're dividing us to conquer us. Together they can't stop us. That's what we were just talking about. Yeah, no, it's true.
Yep. You said I fell for that. I was chanting no justice, no peace. Who was that?
Wow, yeah. Around and just start chanting justice and peace.
Exactly. Just take the no out. Justice and peace.
You can easily just say I love my life.
Well, I feel like he should. He should switch around and just go outside and yell, "There's justice, there's peace."
Yeah, for real. He said, "All right, so let's go here. We're gonna switch gears. All right, what is going on with? Well, I have my own things to say with this, but I want to give you guys the ground because this is where you at. Hey, what's going on with the women in the world today? Because there seems to be. I'm only saying it seems. There seems to be an attack on like manhood and being a man, and like being a man is wrong, and like the women have to like rise into this like place of like takeover, like dominance, like discard. So what is up with that?
We were watching yesterday.
Oh my god!
Where I was like, "What is this shit?" It was on Netflix. It was some stupid kid movie, and it was all about like women empowerment. I'm like, this is about hating men, and turning men into soy boys.
We're not into that.
Soy boys.
We're into empowering one masculine.
Yeah.
Trey, don't you drink soy?
No. What do you mean soy? Oh, with the shit. No, I don't drink those shakes no more. That was a lot of soy. But hey, so elaborate. Like where you like not only where you guys at, but
I'm totally.
How did we get here?
Not a feminist. We're not feminists. I don't connect with feminism now because I think feminism now has been infiltrated, and I think it's a bunch of bullshit, and I think it's a bunch of fucking man hating. And people talk about toxic masculinity. Well, there's toxic femininity. A lot of women have not liked us because we have a lot of masculine energy. And I think that, every person who's balanced has strong masculine and strong feminine.
Not just
one. Not just, sometimes you embody one more than the other, I feel like.
But that also depends on the scenario and the environment you're in.
Right.
Because it can fluctuate as well.
Okay.
Yeah. But I went over this actually in my private group, the Teacher Awakens, where it was all females, but I was told to teach them about the Divine King. And when I channeled into the energy of the Divine King, it was like his energy wants to come in. Like, I'm talking about the king that is balanced, the king that loves women, the king, the energy of the masculine that wants to protect women. But there's so many women in the spiritual community that hate men, so they can't even pull this energy in. Like the divine masculine is like, I don't know where to go, because he's like, I want to come in, but there's so much hate towards me that I can't even download that program onto the planet. So for me, I feel like if you're pushing men away as a woman and you're just saying you're bad and like you're toxic and you're this and that, you're feeding into your toxic femininity, and you're not even honoring the divine masculine, which is something that real, because if you push away the masculine, there's no protection.
Yeah.
The masculine is what protects. Like when we go into ceremony and we protect, it's masculine.
Okay.
I feel that those that bash on that masculine toxicity or whatever, I feel like a lot of women that go for that don't understand discernment.
Right.
And they look at that as just all that.
Yeah.
All that.
Yep.
Right. In order to hold strong boundaries, you need masculine energy, because feminine doesn't hold strong boundaries. That, and it's the masculine naturally that knows how to hold strong boundaries. So like, I feel like there's this programming on the planet that's like, yeah, hate men, because then it's going to make people hate masculinity, and then it's going to make people really submissive.
Because they won't be protected.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Donnie, any thoughts on that?
Making decisions.
Not really.
No. Yeah, because
I never dealt with like that before. So,
but let me ask you this. I gotta ask you this, because I think this is an important question to ask, for you specifically. Because I know for myself, when I like how you just said, when you watch that movie, you saw the shit in the movie, you're like, what the, like, every time I watch movies, I see it in there. I see it's like, all right, this is what they're gonna do. The female character is gonna end up taking the place of the male character. He's gonna step down. He's gonna submit. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, let me be clear with this. This conversation is in no way, obviously, because you guys are here also. This isn't a conversation against women. This is a conversation to promote balance, because we need men and women. You know what I mean? But they're pushing to unbalance that. So do you notice that stuff by someone? Like, I know you don't think like that when you're watching a movie. You're not like, oh, like, I see the programming. Or like, do you notice like?
Well, to be fair, I watch movies a lot different than anybody does, because I like to make movies. Like,
so you're watching the
production. I see like, oh, look at all the camera angles. So I'm weird when it comes to like movies.
Yeah.
I can't enjoy a movie anymore because I'm like, wow, look at it. They used 3 cameras for that one scene, and everybody else is like, oh my god, they just killed that guy. And I'm like, yeah, but how did they get the? But anyways, no, I do see what you're talking about, though. I mean, yeah, I see like they try to rise one gender up over the other in movies, and like, oh, like if it's like a country movie, it's like, oh, it's the man. You know, the woman stay inside, I'll take care of this. And then when it's like some kind of powerful like movie, it's like, oh, the guy couldn't do it, but the girl's gonna rise and stuff. Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Yeah,
gotcha.
But
I don't think I've ever seen a movie where it was like equal. Like, we'll do this together.
Yeah.
Except for Vikings, but anyways,
Lord of the Rings.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I never seen that either.
It took me a long time, but I watched it.
I'm like, Lord of the Rings.
But
I never seen that.
No justice, no peace, and them amplifying that. It's the same thing. It's the same pushing away that energy. It's the same dividing that energy, allowing it not to thrive. They know what they're doing. The people that are setting these little marionettes around, they know what they're doing to divide us, to limit our powers, to make us more submissive. But,
well, you got to think, they're dark magicians. Yeah. They know about magic. They know that in order to have powerful magic, you need the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Like, you need balance.
Yeah,
that's why they're stripping it.
Knows that,
because I can't stand either when it's like, oh, I'm gonna go work, you stay home and clean and cook. That's all you're good for. Like, I can't stand that either. So it's like, I don't like when they demasculine men, but I also don't like when they like make the woman like,
well,
you're not
the biggest thing they did to us, you know what I mean, is that men and women now are competing against each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In nature, men and women are designed to complement each other. So it's not that one is better than the other. It's that when they join together, now they're whole, like they have a whole complete thing because the man brings something, the woman brings something, and they complement what the different things that each other have. You know what I mean?
It's just a way to divide us.
But now it seems like the women, I'm gonna get in trouble, but whatever. Now it seems like the women are becoming the men, and the men are becoming the women.
I have something to say about that.
I agree.
I learned a big lesson when I was teaching that program and looking at my old relationships. So I've always been a strong, independent woman, right? And so strong to the point where, yeah, like I embodied a lot of the masculine, but because of that, I've attracted weak men that don't compliment me because I've pushed away the good masculine energy, and it's always caused me problems. So I've always been attracting men that need healing, when in actuality I need a strong alpha male energy to complement me, and I need to learn how to be submissive in certain ways to allow him to give to me. So I realized that's been an issue with the guys that I've dated. And like teaching that program and channeling into that energy, I was like, holy shit, like I didn't even realize that, because you know, my mom and dad got divorced, and then my mom pretty much had to take care of me. So it was kind of like I'll never rely on a man. I'll never need a man. I don't want to, you know, to have like, I don't want to have to like need that.
Yeah.
But then I always attracted men that like I was mothering in a sense in certain ways, and like had to take care of in certain ways. And then it always took away from me.
You had you had the masculinity they didn't have, so you filled that void for them. And
it always fucked me over. So like now I realize, wait, so like the next guy I date, like I'm gonna have to learn how to let him do certain things, and that I'm not used to doing that. But if I want a strong masculine energy, like I have to learn to step aside and allow him to give to me. So that's a big part of the problem right now.
I agree with that.
And then, all right, you guys let me stop driving the bus, because I'm driving this thing all over the place. All right, you guys drive the bus.
Well, you want us to keep talking?
Yeah, well, just drive the bus. Like, where does this conversation? All right, let's recap on what we touched on, and then let's see where we go from there. Because we touched on the racism, and you know how it actually has power over people and what it's being used for. We touched on, you know, the feminist, you know, I guess feminist movement. So that's the flag that they're moving under.
I actually would like to
talk
about that a little bit too. Being a more masculine female, as divine masculine female, I like to say sometimes, but it's a problem too with men that need to view women in that role a little bit differently. I feel is because like in my last relationship, he kept saying to me I was the man hater club or whatever. Man hater club. I'm like,
wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that from the Little Rascals?
Is it?
That's from a movie.
I think it is.
That's the She-Man Woman Hater.
Quote, dude. But really, it's not. It's just that I stand strong in what I believe, and I am not afraid to do things for myself. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty and get work done. I don't always need to be nurtured, but I do like to be nurtured. That's what happens sometimes with me, anyways. Is that they'll come in and, like she said, the weaker of the masculine, because we're overpowering that masculine. But it's also not understanding when we fluctuate. Like he only saw me as that man hater because I was so dominant with what I did in my actions. And I'm not. I'm actually empower men on a daily basis.
I could elaborate on that, but then we're gonna go down a relationship road. But let me elaborate a little bit, and then we'll get back to people being offended. But you know what what's the word I'm looking for? With all of this switching of the roles and all these things that are happening, and you know what I mean, the men moving more towards and this isn't about gay people, because I see straight ass men wearing purses and shit. You know what I mean? But men moving more towards the women's side, women moving more towards the men's side. What I think is important to realize is that what we're really up against is men, or the average man now does not have the space to be an actual man anymore, because what's been created, well, put it this way, everything he's ever been taught that makes someone a man is no longer relevant in today's society. Therefore, he doesn't have a place, and he has a longing to be something that he doesn't, or longing to be something he was taught to be, that there's no actual space to be. So for instance, like say like me and Donnie, let's go back to like our father or our grandfather, right? When the grandfather was alive, grandpa went to work, he brought home the money, he
like,
took care of the family.
they used to say always, "Oh, I have to provide for the family."
He
I have to
provided,
provide.
you know what I mean? From the beginning of time, the men provided. Like the women would hold down, you know, the
That
area.
goes
The
back. I
men,
think
well,
that.
not all societies, but in most societies, the men will go out to hunt. They bring the stuff back.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
know
say
there
that.
was some tribes that the women did the hunting for sure. But now when we fast forward to this, now you have a bunch of men that are in a space where um women are being conditioned to have the independent, like, I'm independent. I don't need no men. Men ain't no good. Da da da. You can't take care of me. What you think you're my daddy? Like that. So all of that stuff has now a man who is by nature a provider being told that he's not needed for providing, or in a space with someone who actually, to be quite frankly, doesn't need him. You know what I mean? So when now a man is stripped of that, we have to now uh teach men how to be a man in a society that men have yet to face up until this
Well,
time. You know what I
you
mean?
can't take the provider out of a real masculine man. So I feel like
Well,
it's
let me just add this before you go down the road. But what we got to realize is most men now, especially from working with men, most men are not tapped into their masculine energy for this reason. A lot of men grew up in households now without a father there.
that's
And
what
you can have a badass mom, and a single moms can do their thing. Like, you know what I mean? But when a man grows up in a household without an actual man in there, he does take in a lot of the feminine energy and feminine traits, not only from his mom, but his aunties and like all these people that are around. You know what I mean? So like that's what we're up against. We have a bunch of fatherless sons now trying to figure out how to be a man in a society that the rules for men that they could even look back to don't apply anymore. You know what I mean?
I can agree with that. I can agree with that, and I can agree with the fact that some of that fatherless men create toxic masculinity, because then it creates the abusiveness because of what they grew up around, the mother bringing in their life, the different types of men coming in, and then what they don't want to be when they grow up, but they still lead with it because it's all they know.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
how,
And I'll
that's how
tell
you brought
somebody,
up too. Like you brought up, like, oh, provide, be the man. Man up. That was always like, when you fall down, oh, man up. But now it's like they tell you like, oh, you have to, this is the keys to success. But I mean, pretty much in today's society, it's all handed to you. I mean, you don't have to go out and like hunt for your food. It's you just go to the store.
I think
I
the
said
big
cheeseburger.
thing is women need to let men know that they're wanted and needed.
absolutely.
And shouldn't be ashamed of that. And for someone like me to say that, like, I wouldn't, like, that's like a new thing that's like learning. Like, you have to, like, if you want to be with a masculine man, like, you need to let him know that he's wanted and needed. And men want to provide naturally. So there's ways that they can provide, like, I feel like it depends on the relationship. What can they provide? Like, what role can they play? It depends on the woman, and I feel like it can all balance out. But
I feel like this could be a great conversation if we keep going with it. But yeah, I'm gonna add one last thing that I was telling someone the other day. No, actually, no, because that's a whole nother episode.
I just want to say this. Sky just said men's mental and emotional health matters too, and I feel like a lot of people don't care about how men feel, and I think that's fucked up. I think that's the big problem right now, is like, it's okay to accuse a man of doing something that he didn't even do because of the other bad men that have done something in the past, just like with the whole white and black thing. Like, it's like,
yeah, that's
like,
true.
oh, you can accuse white people of doing bad shit even if they didn't do it now because of the past.
Yeah.
Like, people put the past on the fucking pedestal. We need to be in the now.
Present.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like, that's the problem with all of this shit, is that people are so stuck in the past,
Yeah.
and that's a part of the spell, is like, look what happened in the past, look what happened in the
Conditioning.
past, it's never gonna change. Like, they're putting that in your head. Men aren't gonna change, white people aren't gonna change, they're always gonna be a problem. White men, forget it. Like, white men have no say right now, you know? Sorry, Donnie.
Yeah. Yeah, Donnie. It's all your fault, Donnie.
All right, I'm
Jesus,
sorry. I'm
Donnie.
sorry. Sorry.
Nah, but for real. That's real. That's real. All right, so where do we drive this bus from here? I think we got to drive into this, man, because now it's getting a little bit like to the point where you can't even speak about how crazy something crazy actually is, because if you do, then everybody's offended and you're crazy for even thinking that way. You know what I mean? So when we think about things like I saw some shit on like a Facebook screenshot someone took of the news, but somebody was pissed off because people are doing gender reveal parties, and they said that that's a violation on the child because you don't actually know what that child's gender is.
To me,
I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just
there's
like,
only
this
two
is getting
genders, I'm
crazy.
sorry, there's only two genders.
Yeah,
You know what's
Scientifically,
pissing
there
me
are
off
only
too? Is movies. Oh, we have to
Mm.
ban this movie. Oh, we have to ban that.
Yo,
And this
like
shit's from the
Disney
1990s,
movies.
dude. Like,
Yeah,
it
Oh,
didn't
I
bother us all up until this year, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden now it's a problem.
Yeah, for real. But that's to create the confusion, because there's shit in your face that you should be offended about, but they're telling you we're canceling Pepe Le Pew, and people stop freaking out. Like, why Pepe Le Pew? But there's like some shit happening right fucking now, and nobody cares about it. You know
That's
what
what I don't understand. Like, the whole thing, I
Mhm.
forget what it was going on, and it was like this crazy amount of stuff was going on that was like real life stuff, and they
Mhm.
were worried about the
Pepe
uh
Le Pew
no,
canceling Peter
no,
Pan.
the potato. Mr.
You
Potato
love
Head. Remember
potatoes.
I called you as soon as I heard about that. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
Jay,
he did.
are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
And he
for
was like,
real.
bro, if you're about to tell me what I think you're gonna tell me, we
Yeah.
had this long. I was pissed. I was like, of all the stuff that's going on right now, we're worried about a fight.
But that's a part of like demoralization. It's like to
Yeah.
like,
And trust me, like I open my eyes. Like, I'm not gonna, like, if you came up to me and was like, yo, this is why we should get rid of something, I'm not gonna be like, you're crazy, get out of here. But I'm gonna listen to you. But it's like, it was like crazy. Like, of all things that happened that week, it was like, what was it, like 4 things happened that week,
Yeah,
and then
like,
the topper of it all was a potato that went
oh, you know
viral.
what happened? They storming the Capitol. Joe Biden got elected. They had
Yeah,
people
storming the Capitol.
upstairs.
Joe Biden got elected, and we're worried about is, oh, there's a potato that
mm-hmm.
is a male.
Yeah, it doesn't have
A fake
either part.
potato is a man.
That you can
And
build
he's
however you
white
want to build
inside.
That doesn't actually have genders, though. It didn't have like genitals. It was a potato.
it. Yeah. But the shit about it is this, right? Let's think about this. What is I can't say. Let's not ask that yet. Let's say this. Yo, people need to get beat up a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you need to have your feelings hurt. You need
This
like
kid right here, Christopher Meyer. Young boys need to fight
Yeah.
to be rough. I believe that.
yeah.
Be rough and tumble, to climb everything that can be climbed, to test their strength and feel strong. There is no reason why young boys want to wrestle with their father. Like, I totally believe that. Like, I was saying to one of my guy friends not too long ago, I go, you need to go get into a fucking fight. Just go.
Yeah, but fighting is not the same anymore.
No.
They're bringing guns to fist fights. Like, it's not. You can't even you can't even like flip somebody off while driving anymore. Like, yo, get out of my way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what's in that car.
That's the easy way out. Like, nobody wants to get hit in the face. That's what it all boils down to. Nobody wants to take a loss. When I was a kid, like, if me and you were hanging out and something happened, like, literally we would fist fight, like, fight each other, get up, like, yo, like, if I whooped your ass, I'll walk away from it and come back. Well, I'll say you whipped my ass, so it don't seem like I'm being modest. If you whip my ass, I'll walk away, come back, and then like me and you are boys after that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, yo,
I
we
know a
fought it
lot
out,
of
and then
guys
that's
who
it.
have
A little scrap, and you're on with it.
like, you gain respect
Yeah.
by
Exactly.
fighting each other when
Exactly.
you're like that.
Now you get into a fist fight, and it's, oh, I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna throw you in jail and ruin your whole life.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I had the same argument. I had equal argument with you that you had with me.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's stupid.
So we living in a big soft mashed potato. But what do we?
hey, but it's gender neutral.
Oh, okay.
Careful with the potatoes.
Potatoes. But what are we gonna do?
I don't know what the gender thing, like, I'm completely lost with that. And I've talked to people in the gay community and they're lost too. So like,
Yeah, same.
like they're
So
like,
if it's lost on both sides, where did it come
Well,
from?
here's the shit though. All of these things, like, all right, let's dial it back. Even like, all right, the race thing, the feminist thing, the gender thing, all of these things, average people really don't waste too much time on. But
no,
it's being sold to us like it's this
It's media.
massive issue that everybody cares about. You know what I mean? And that's what draws people in to actually care about it.
It's the media.
And yo, people get offended when you're not offended. Like I had people get mad at me because I wasn't mad about something. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
saw
hey, did you hear about this? And I'm
I-
like, yeah, like
I
I heard
saw
about
I saw a white guy mad about the BLM, and a buddy of mine was like, he was black. He's
Yeah.
like, yo, I don't even like.
No,
I'm not
people,
offended.
people have argued with me about it.
They're like, he's like, how
you
can
know
you
what I
not
mean?
be offended? Look at this, and he's like, because it's media, dude.
Yeah, for
Like,
real, they just
he was like, no, it's not media. Like, he was getting offended. I'm like, bro, like,
yeah.
I'm gonna get mad at this guy.
But yeah, it's people like people get offended when you're not
I
offended.
don't even want to be here anymore.
I know, right?
Man, you're so creeped out.
Yo, nah, you guys don't even know. You guys don't even know. I seen this big ass spider down here, so now I gotta be like, keep my
they're
eyes open.
protecting.
Yeah.
Nah, I know. They're
Well,
holding out a house.
well,
All right, so we got 13 minutes. What's the most offensive, outrageous shit that can get us canceled right now?
we haven't got
Talk about
canceled yet, right? Are the messages still coming in?
I don't know.
Yeah, people are just talking about how people need to fight.
Well, no, because people need to build character, man. Like without going through shit and without having your feelings hurt, without being embarrassed, without somebody like fucking shaming your ass, like you're not gonna develop that strong character or that thick skin you need to really move in the real world. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are so like sheltered and what do they call that, coddled and all this shit, and then they get into the real world and their boss yells at them or something and they fucking have a breakdown because nobody's ever given them like real shit before. You know what I mean?
You got to learn to be confrontational. And
Yes.
be like okay with it, and like learn how to deal with your emotions when you're confronting something. I feel like when we go back to the whole offended thing, it's like we confront each other. There's drama. It's natural. We're emotional beings. There's supposed to be drama. Like that's how we connect with each other. That's how we learn. But the problem is people don't know how to deal with their emotions in that process. It's like, can we just disagree on certain things? But then it also comes to like the fact too that people are like 2 + 2 = 5 now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like with the gender thing, I'm sorry, but there's only 2 to me. There's a boy and a girl. Like there's nothing more. Not in the time that we live in. But whatever you want to fucking call yourself, I could give a fuck. You know? Like if you're like, I'm a chapstick gender, that's fine. You can call yourself that. But
you can't force someone else to go along with it.
I'm not gonna fucking hate you for it. I might think you're a little strange, but you know, I believe in aliens and put hats on my alien statues, so who am I to judge?
Yeah, exactly. We all got our own shit. For real.
But we don't.
Donnie, you look like you want to say something. Go with it, man.
No, bro.
Let it out.
You just keep looking around. Like, should I be worried something down there?
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
I keep looking. You keep looking over your shoulder over there, but it's all good.
All the stuff that's been happening here.
I don't know. You be looking at those statues over there.
Man.
Was that one laying down the whole time?
What is it?
Was that one laying down on the end of the whole time?
Yeah, that's
all right. Good, because that motherfucker started.
I'm gonna tell you guys some crazy shit.
I'll tell you right now, I'm out of this bitch. I quit the UnCut Show. If
crazy, it'll be right up your alley too. You guys are gonna love it. Hold on, let me close this. All right, so everybody got to stop being softies and get back to like being like,
oh my god,
real people.
I know.
What does this say? You have a what? Oh,
that's what I just read, dude. I was like,
oh, wow, they're bugging in the comments. Oh snap! Whoa, okay. Now we're really uncut. I like it.
Oh, somebody's gonna be offended.
Yeah, for real.
I think, you know what? I don't think we're gonna get us canceled. I think our comments are gonna get us canceled.
It's good though. It's good, man. All right, so let's talk about this real quick. I have no idea. But next,
that was good.
The bus is out of gas. But no. Yes, I think
it's hard because like there's so much we could dig into, but it would just take forever to get it out.
Yeah. We would have to do a show on each one of those areas that we just talked about. You know what I mean?
I think this is another one we can come back to.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But like get more into like a certain part of it, like maybe like a three-part segment on that.
I feel like if you haven't offended somebody, you got to do more with your life. You know what I mean? Like if somebody hasn't been offended by something you've done,
You're
maybe
not
you're not doing enough.
Yeah, you're not real.
Yeah, you're not being real. Exactly.
Everything going on in the world today. If a little comment like I couldn't even give you an example right now, but if something small like that offended you and that's gonna ruin your whole life after everything going on in the world today, like I'm talking not even just the bad things, like the accomplishments, like what we're doing in space, like what's going on here, what's going on there. If one little comment's gonna ruin everything and you have to flip the whole world upside down, you need to get a hobby.
Well, the thing about it is if someone gets offended, I think being offended might be escapism. Because if you're offended, and you get to just leave reality and just not accountable for anything because you're so fucking offended.
I just think it proves that like a lot of people are followers, because if one person was like, "Yo, Mr. Potato Head offends me," and the whole country is like, "Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's terrible."
I really think that, like, see, I feel like they embellish.
Yes,
like, you
they pump
really
it up.
think a lot of people were offended by Mr. Potato Head.
Every time I talk to somebody about it, they were
I
like,
never even met one person. They're all like, I don't give a fuck about that.
Like, I bet if we went out on the streets and we were like, "Are you offended by Mr. Potato Head?" I bet 90%, I bet 95% of the people would be like,
you're gonna get the few that are like, yeah, just because they're on camera and they're gonna be like,
I'm so hurt.
This is ridiculous. Yeah.
Because I know for sure if a guy came up to me with a camera and asked me a ridiculous question, I'm gonna give him the answer he wants.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, yeah, of course I am. Like,
but yo, I got a confession. Because we're talking about like offended and shit like that. I almost went down the road of trying not to offend people. Because remember when we started the Coach Brown show? I was like super clean cut. Remember that? I'm like, hi guys, welcome to the Coach Brown
and then
show.
he found out what Twitch was, and he was like,
you know what I mean? And then we did the UnCut Show, and it was like,
that was out the window, dude. I remember the first episode. I think we dropped like 60 F-bombs.
Yeah, it was
you
crazy.
told everybody you didn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah, that was crazy. But so the machinery is real, and it could get your ass. You know what I mean? So we got just everybody who's watching. You got to make sure you have a heightened sense of awareness. Well, before I say that, let's say this. Final thought. Let's do a round about the table. Right? So I'll start us off.
I don't like how you started that.
You don't like how I started?
No, because you do that episode, and now I have to think about something to say.
Oh, you want to go first? But at least you're going last. You have a lot of time.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean?
Yeah,
just say everything that we say, but just differently.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna intertwine everything.
For real. But yeah, everybody just got to snap out of it, man. Like you said, everybody's under a spell right now, and it's almost like people are waking up, like popping out of it, and it's just like almost like they were gone for a certain amount of time. It's like people I know who like wake up from all this shit. It's just like, wow, like I was really in this shit for like however many years. You know what I mean? Like I really thought this way. Now they're out of it, and it's like they got to start from a new place. You know what I mean? So anybody who's watching this and you feel some kind of way about anything we said right now, like you're inside of this machinery and programming, and you got to pull yourself out because life is happening, like real life is happening on the outside. You know what I mean? When you're inside the machinery, or when you're victim, I don't even like victim. When you're a product of the programming, you are living inside of a simulated world that's not actually real. And by the time you realize that, you'll be on your way out of this lifetime. If you ever even realize it. You know what I mean? If you can't be offended by everything, and don't take anything personal. I always tell people this: don't take anything personal, except for your crimes against yourself. Anything outside of yourself, don't take it personal, because 98% of the time it has shit to do with you. So just live your life, keep pushing forward, stay righteous, and don't allow things to take you off your pivot. You know what I mean? You're next.
All right.
No, I'm joking.
Everything he said times 2. No, I like what you said though, because like I don't remember it being this bad 3 years ago. I feel like it's the last 2 years that like.
Dude, think of some of the stuff we would say as kids when we were kids.
Oh my
like
god!
When you were playing with your friends.
Fucking 90s, everything was a thing.
Yo, you were saying everything to your friends. You know what I mean? And you're like, we'll be like, yo, your mom's so fucking fat. You know what I mean? But you can't do that now. There'll be counselors at the school like, he's made an obese comment about his mother.
Can you imagine being a counselor that's still stuck in the old times? Like he called his mother fat. I'd be like, Yeah, that's
Like,
bad.
how fat is his mother? Like,
That's bad.
Oh, fair enough.
all right, all right. Final thoughts, guys. What you guys got for a final thought on this matter
So
or subject?
So basically, with the offensiveness, I think that a lot of people are just scared of the unknown, and instead of learning something new or venturing into something they're not sure about, they just get offended about it, and they just put up a wall, or they want others to believe. Like, I think about what you said in the beginning and how you said when people throw out offensiveness, it kind of pulls back. And what I think it is, it's their energy trying to suck you back into their offensiveness.
Okay.
Believe in what I'm believing in, because I need more people to feel this aggressive, offensive energy. It's not a good, healthy energy. Empathically, I feel like it's very
Siphoning.
toxic. It siphons. It's
Psychic vampires.
manipulating. It's an illusion art that people just want others to believe.
Dark magic.
It's creating the illusion instead of understanding the unknown, learning the occult, learning the real truth about magic versus manipulating others to think and believe what you want them to, I guess. So wake the hell up. Just learn something new. I feel like when you're offended about something, why are you offended about it? Learn why. Give yourself a list, a reason. Like maybe after that you might not be so offended. That's just
I
kind
would
of
say stop being offended for other people's problems too. Like,
like
taking other problems to heart. Like
shit that other people aren't even
what are
offended
you
by.
taking that?
like going out there like, no.
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's
Like, I don't care about that.
get it. Don't get me wrong, back them. But if the person you're trying to back isn't going out there, then don't back.
They don't care. Then
That's because they don't want to focus on their own fucking problems.
Yeah.
That's escapism.
They don't want that to look bad. They don't want to look at like, oh, see, I'm not racist. I'm out there for you.
Exactly. It's the white guilt trip that America's pulling on people. Yo, oh my God, guys, we can't leave without that. We got to talk about this shit.
Oh man.
Yo, I need now. See, we're gonna go over a little bit because we cannot leave without this.
I didn't know what I was
Here we go.
My turn.
All right, guys. I know that you don't work for Coca-Cola. Well, at least I'm guessing. But did you guys ever in the
I
last
actually
year?
worked for Coca-Cola.
You did?
I did.
Oh, you do. So did you take us? No, you don't. Well, all right, guys, listen. I don't know if you've been practicing this or not, or if you take any courses because the courses are out there. But have you guys recently learned how to be less white?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah, I know how to be less white.
Because your supreme whiteness is offending me.
Yeah, I just
Did you guys hear about this shit? Like companies holding courses teaching their employees to be less white. Now let's just flip that around. Like, what if Coca-Cola was like, "All right, guys, we're gonna do a class on how to be less black." Yo, America would like blow up. It would like shut down. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, when I heard that, like, yo, I literally laughed for like I don't even know, like 5 minutes. I'm
Doesn't
like,
Coca-Cola make the drink mellow yellow?
Who?
Doesn't Coca-Cola make the drink mellow yellow?
I believe so.
That is the whitest Mountain Dew I have ever met.
It's trying to be less Mountain Dew. But how do you listen? Because everybody wants to
wouldn't
ask.
that be considered kind of racist?
Well, yes, but no, because it can't be racist.
Why?
Because it's against white people. It can't be racist.
Oh, I guess.
Those are jokes for anybody watching. But how do you guys feel with all this stupid shit that's going on? Like, be less white and the terminology that I think is laughable too. Like, I don't believe in it. White privilege and all this type of stuff. Like, what do you guys think about this?
I'm not the whitest white person, so I don't really care.
So it really doesn't move you in either direction.
Like, I'm not. Like,
She does not wear boat shoes.
Yeah.
Or did you take the course and that's why?
Are the people actually like taking this course?
I think it's just because
No, you have to at your job.
It's mandatory.
They made the people take this shit.
Oh man.
No.
So like,
I can't answer that.
but you guys are
So
offended.
now it's like that.
I feel like if I tell them how I feel about that comment, it's gonna put me in a bad
weird,
position.
right? It's weird.
Because
But
if you were a white guy and you were at Coca-Cola and you're like, we're gonna teach you how to be less white. Oh, I'm not taking that class. Why? Are you racist?
Exactly.
Now you feel obligated that you have to take that course.
So I just wanted to bring that up because I was curious, because I know for me, I thought it was hilarious. But for you guys, because you guys are, white. You guys are white, right?
I don't
Is it okay for me to say that?
I'm actually blue.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh yeah, Ashley don't mess with the labels.
I don't label myself as white though.
As perceived white individuals in America, See, but you guys are too aware to let that bother you.
Yeah,
But
no,
when it shows up, does it do anything? Are
no,
you like, what the fuck
that's
is
why
this?
I own my own fucking business, and I would never work for
Mm,
any of these corporate fuck faces because
it makes sense. I
I
like
just
that.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
nah.
If
Just
my
don't
boss
care,
was like,
right?
"You have to take a course," I'm like, "You can go." I ain't taking that course, dude.
Yeah, nah, I just had to bring that up because when you said somebody said something and it reminded me of that, and I'm like, yo, I could not believe when they said that. I'm like, yo, what the hell is happening right now? You know what I mean?
I feel like it's just people trying to get away with shit again. Like, how far can we push
How
it?
far can we push it?
Yeah,
exactly.
honestly, because at that point, it's just like
I just think it's like
whoever
guilt,
would just
like
like
making people feel bad for being white, and like if you're implementing guilt on people, it's just gonna make them feel like shit. It's just
Exactly.
gonna make people feel like shit. It's just like, hey, how can we make people feel like shit? Well, we could do this because this is trending now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Once they feel like shit, we can get them to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we don't want to run over on our people too much, but I would like the podcast. We should do not anytime soon, but I had this crazy ass idea today.
I swear to God, if it's the exact same idea I have, I'm gonna lose my shit. Go
I
ahead.
doubt it. 'Cause I'm crazy.
Go ahead.
All right, listen. If you guys are up for this, I don't even know if it's possible, but I think we can do it. What if we did a 24-hour podcast?
Oh hell no!
God, what would we
First
do?
of all, I
Yo,
got this weird ass
that would be
snore.
monumental, no?
I'll be snoring, bro.
No, you can take a nap at some time.
I'm not having them stream a nap.
Nah, I was really thinking that though. 24-hour podcast? That'd be crazy, no?
I was thinking, all right. So
I
my
don't
thought,
know.
my
What's
thought.
the,
So,
well, what's the objective? What's going to happen at the end of it? What's
No, that's the thing. It's all about hitting the 24-hour mark, and we just talk about
as
anything.
much as you can talk about?
As we
within
just
24
keep
hours?
talking, and then obviously different people will come into the podcast throughout the day, and they'll want to talk about different stuff.
I'm gonna tell you right
kinda
now,
like anything goes.
we're gonna be talking to ourselves for like 8 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's
Exactly.
you guys,
We're gonna be like, yeah. So like that's
Like
crazy.
2 in the morning, like so yeah.
We're gonna hate each other we're not gonna be on the podcast in the following month because we're all gonna hate each other.
we need a break.
We're gonna talk about aliens at one point, and I'm gonna be like, you know what, bullshit. I don't believe it.
They'll take you.
And then I'll get offended.
Exactly. I'll just start saying shit just to
I
piss
know
each other
what
off
Ashley
and
will say.
create a
Ashley will be
conversation.
like, so why do you not believe that?
I'll be like, I don't know. It's 24 hours. We've been on it for 16 hours. I'm just tired.
Oh shit.
I'll
All right,
just-
Johnny, what's your final thought, man? Let's wrap this baby up.
Yeah. No, my final.
Not an
thought-
actual baby. I don't want nobody to be defended.
I don't know. I pretty much said it. Like, just
Alright.
I don't know. Stop worrying about the little stuff. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world, and I'm not trying to take anything away from what is going on, but like we're worrying about stupid stuff at this point, and it's like movies, old like cartoons, like potatoes, little things like that. Who cares? Who cares?
Yeah.
Literally F your feelings when it comes to that, because it does not matter. Not when the like government's screwed up. It's all falling apart. Everything else is falling apart, but we're worried about a freaking potato, dude.
We need a t-shirt. UnCut Show, F your feelings. I can see it.
And put a potato
On yours. Only on yours. Alright, yeah, this was a good episode, man. You said stop it, I'm offended. Oh, stop. Hold on.
Wait, I didn't get to do mine.
You didn't do yours?
No.
Come on, man. Alright, here we go.
See that?
Wait, drum roll.
He doesn't care about your
Here we
feelings.
go.
It's on the wall.
No, I really like offending people. I don't think I would be alive if I couldn't offend anyone, because like that's kind of what I've done my whole life. So I offend people naturally just by being myself, and I think it's one of the best superpowers that anyone could ever have.
I think you should make a goal to try to offend Jay. He said he's never been offended.
Yo, the reason why I say I never been offended is because nobody's ever done something where I'm like stopped, where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that.
I don't want to take. No, it's her turn. I don't want to. I was going to say.
Yeah, let me shut up. Come on, Ashley.
All right. I lost my train of thought.
Ah.
But I just think that it's all a distraction from what's, like Donnie said, what's really going on. Like, look at how fucked up and corrupt our government is. But hey, look at that potato over there. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I feel like I get offended by how stupid people are, but that's just me. I don't know. I honestly feel like if you're offended by everything, you're just wasted. Like, you're wasting your life away. You're draining your power. You're never going to be happy about anything. because you're just too focused on things that you have no control over.
Mhm.
And I feel like this whole offended culture is trying to force people to believe things that, you know, first of all, everyone is different. Everyone has different opinions about things. So you can't force belief on somebody.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is a big part of the problem. And that is just going to take away from you. So I feel like it's like this self-righteous bullshit thinking that you're doing something and you're saving the world, when in actuality, you're causing more separation, you're creating distraction, and you're destroying yourself. So have fucking fun. And you're a bitch.
Yes, I was waiting. I was like, yo, she got to say it.
I'm offended by
that. All right, guys. So, hey, we're going to get out of here. Tonight was a great show. This was episode 6.
I don't know.
Wow.
No, it was 4. Episode 4.
This is not episode 4.
I'm messing around.
I'm offended by the way you just said that.
I'm offended that you're offended by what I'm offended
Oh,
by.
so you are offended.
I'm never offended. I'm offended that you think I'm offended.
I'm offended that spider's above your head, bro.
Yeah, it probably is. But all right, guys, we're out of here. Everybody have a good night. Oh, thank you to Jess Bell for coming through for the first time on the podcast. Hey, hopefully you might be able to make it back next week.
Absolutely. Maybe.
Maybe, right? Oh, wait a minute.
I want to offend you, though. So.
Yeah, for real.
Maybe.
All right, guys, everybody have a good night. And we appreciate everybody in the comments. And everybody, don't be offended. Peace.